Hey, welcome to the Go Find Nervous Show. I'm your host, Jake Bowling. This is the show where we find out 3 examples that made our guests nervous on their journey to success and how they overcame them. 2 things real quick. If you want a free copy of the booklet that started it all, Go Find Nervous. This is Go Find Nervous, the 4 proven pillars for unlimited progress. Free copy, plus a little shipping and some other offers if you want them. Go to masteringnervous.com. Secondly, if your phone is horizontal and you're watching this horizontal, would you flip it vertical, please? Real quick, hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification. That way you know when all these amazing guests are going to be on. All right, let me talk about the guest today real quick. Lily Fifita, a model, an actress and entertainer, an all-around type of woman that has things headed in a huge direction. I can't wait till you hear the nuggets that she drops today. Let's start the conversation with Lily Fifita today on the Go Find Nervous Show. Hey, I appreciate you being here today. Thanks so much. Let's talk about modeling and how you got into modeling.
To be honest with you, Jake,
Yeah.
I didn't ever thought I would become a model. I was taking pictures. I love taking pictures. I love posing in front of the camera. And my friends decided to submit my photos to an agency, and then I got a call. Then I got signed. Honestly, it became something, it kind of like, it was a nice surprise. I didn't know I could do it.
Yeah. Now, you were younger. Were you younger when this happened, or were you just?
I was 22 years old, which is ancient. I felt like during that time.
Yeah.
Because like when I did sign up, the classes that I was taking to like do runway, the girls were like 15,
Wow.
16, and I was 22 and married and yeah, and not in school.
And then it just came about. That's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then now you're the successful model. You have all these things going on. You have what are some challenges that you faced on your way? What's one of the first early challenges that you had being noticed as a model? You said that your friends sent in a picture. Was there some kind of nervousness that went along with that, or what was your first big challenge?
Okay, so when you're modeling, I realized that my job was to promote a product. And so I would be nervous that I wasn't going to do a good enough job for the person who created the product or the idea. So like I'm such a people pleaser. So for me, my nervousness was like, what if they don't like this? Like, oh my gosh, was I, and then of course, when you don't get rebooked with the same client, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I do? So that's kind of like what goes through my head. And I'm like, oh man. And then like, you kind of get a little insecure, like, cause you're kind of like, okay, what did I do that made them not want to book me again? Like,
Right.
What was not good enough?
What did you ever go back and find out? Like if you didn't get rebooked, did you ever go back to them or ever get any answers, or did you just live in that?
Well, here's the thing. Everything goes through an agency, and like, to be honest, I'm nervous to like even ask the agency. Like, I don't even want to bring up attention to the fact that I'm not doing a good job. If that doesn't happen. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh gosh, I hope they don't like, fire me, because that's kind of the thoughts that goes through my head. I don't know about all the other models, but like for me, I was like, oh, dang it. Like, maybe it was because I was late or like, or, just something like that. Or, oh, it was because this and this and that. And so, I don't know. I'm very hard on myself. I critique myself to like a T. So.
Right. So you just inner critique. It's inner critique after that because you never really know, right? You never find out the answer.
Correct.
That is. Does your agent ever say anything? Do they ever like volunteer information? Or they ever like, Lily, they didn't, your smile was too bright.
I kind of wish they did it more, to be honest. But I don't know if they were critiquing me, it was really nice, and I didn't realize they were critiquing me. So
gotcha. Yeah.
They were really nice about it because I'm like, they're pretty, so I'm trying to think, let me see if there was something. I get good feedback sometimes, like, hey, yeah, the client really loves you and stuff like that. But like, yeah, but I've done like so many different types of jobs. It's really hard to keep up, so like, that's why I just inner critique myself. So to save time of like organizing which agency was what. And so, because I have different agencies. So, I mean, there's like a whole process behind the scenes of pretty pictures. You know what I mean? So like, it's kind of like you are your own product as a model, and that's the other thing. It's like, it's literally about you. Like, if you don't get booked, it's literally because of you, nothing else.
Right. There's no excuses. You can't find any, or you can look for them, but it all comes back to you.
It's the delivery of the individual, and it's personal, very personal.
How do you go from job to job without wearing it on your shoulder or wearing it on your sleeve? Like, if you go to job to job to job, do you ever get too, or how do you detach, I guess, from, like you said, the feedback or not getting rebooked or?
Right. I think you just realize like life goes on. I mean, that's my best philosophy. It's like, I can't change what happened, but what I can do is, if I can plan ahead to like recognize, like, let me like cross off some checkbooks, check boxes, like, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this. But every job is different. So sometimes I don't even know what to prepare for until I arrive. And then, because sometimes I was casted as an extra. And then when I got there, they bumped me to principal, which is like, you get better pay. And then you're now like more of like the main character. And and usually like main characters, it doesn't even like, it just means you have like more screen time for the most part. And sometimes it's a speaking part. So sometimes I had no idea I was going to even have a speaking part until I got to set. And then they were like, oh, you know what? You definitely look like you would be the one doing this. Like, or they liked my personality. So like, I don't always have to critique myself. I can also applaud for myself because, sometimes I just like, there was one time I actually came in late. So crazy how things work. But like, I mean, I wasn't trying to be late. I was driving like 2 hours away and it was crazy.
Right.
And as soon as I walked on set, and like, I guess the camera was right there and it like just saw, it picked up, and I guess there were people who were watching the replay and they were like, who's that? And then it was me. And they were like, hey, come here. And I thought I was in trouble. Again, you just never know what to expect. So they're like, hey, Lily, come here. And I'm like, oh, great. It's because I was late. Like literally, I'm like, so I always have to have like a really good poker face because I never know if I'm going to be in trouble or if I'm getting bumped up a role. Like what?
Right. That's interesting. So okay, so a big thing about getting nervous that a lot of people go through is they're not prepared. Like if people aren't prepared, they get really nervous.
But you're even more nervous when you don't know what to prepare for.
Right. So that was my question is, what do you do, or what kind of mindset do you have to be ready for that? You know what I mean? Because you got to step into that role. They said, hey, I think you need to speak. What did you do in the past, or is there a practice that you do that so you stay on top of that game just in case, or are you just like, all right, let me step into this moment?
You have to stay in the confidence game 24/7. So like, if you don't know who you are, you're not going to deliver. Because you know what I mean? You're not going to deliver. It's going to be hard for you to deliver because number one, now you're trying to go like, I've done this so many times. I turn into people pleasing mode. Okay. Because that's when I get nervous, what's the best way I can like make sure that nothing goes wrong? I become a people pleaser.
Try to make people happy.
Yeah. Because nothing will go wrong now because you're happy. And so then that means I didn't do anything wrong.
But then you can't perform, right?
But then you can't perform. Exactly. The moment you become a people pleaser, you can't perform, and you cannot, and definitely you're not being yourself.
Wow.
So you're lying, number one.
Yeah.
You're deceiving people. Now these people think that you're somebody else, and you're not. So like, I know when I get nervous, like I literally do. I'm like I can feel it. And then I have to stop myself, because as soon as I'm like, I attend to, turn my attention to the person who I feel like would, I don't know, make things better. I
help
guess.
you out a little bit. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, is if like, let's say if the owner was there of the product that I'm modeling, and I'm nervous, I turn into people pleasing mode, and then I am not myself.
Right.
And then I'm just like everyone else now.
Right. You're trying to be like everybody else. You're not even the product that they want to begin with.
Exactly.
So when you get nervous, do you have a routine or something you try to fall back on that you can stay centered? Because I'm sure now at this point, when you're turning into people pleasers. So you're like, hey, Lily, what am I doing? How do I get back to this? Yeah.
The routine is it's a mental routine that you have to do at that significant moment. So it's not like you can't, the more you experience these moments, the more you can like master the routine, but it's not something like you can think about it. So first thing I do when I feel nervous, like if I'm in that position where I'm like, I see like the owner or something, and I'm like, I do one thing. I take literally 5 deep breaths, literally stop. And I mean, of course I'm going to be around people, but take 5 deep breaths. Literally having air go into your brain when you're nervous is the best thing you can do for yourself.
It's helpful. Yeah, it's helpful.
But you have to actually intentionally do it. Like, not just like, and then you're like still nervous. Right. And then I remember who I am. So like my values. So I have 3 core values that I live by. Authenticity, honesty, and I think it was like vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because like, I feel like it's so hard to be yourself if you're not going to accept being vulnerable. And it sucks because there's scary people out there that use your vulnerabilities against you. But if you don't own your story, who's going to own it for you?
Yeah.
And vulnerability is not really a bad thing. It's actually how we integrity. So like doing the right thing, And once I realized that, so I internalize that. After I take my 5 deep breaths, I internalize my values. And then I feel this like peace come over me, and I'm able to do things the way I know I should do them.
Yeah.
Not do things the way I feel like they should, like what I feel like they think I should be doing.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes we add like a layer of somebody else's thoughts that is that doesn't even exist. But I mean, we're trained that way because we've been gaslighted our whole lives. But we'll talk about that later.
Well, that's a big problem I think a lot of people go through. I know earlier in my life, when I would give speeches to different audiences, organizations, or corporations, I would say 70% of the stuff is what I wanted to talk about. 30% is what I thought they wanted to hear. And it was soul sucking. Like I would have a good time, but I wouldn't have the best time because I knew I wasn't being completely authentic. And I was like, this is going to kill me. No matter if I'm getting the money, I'm getting paid, I'm doing these things, but
it's not all of Jake.
Right. Exactly.
And that's what makes you different from everyone else. Right. And, that's why they want to hear from you. They don't want to hear from themselves.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a great, that's a fact. Yeah. They're like, I already know this. Why are you telling me this for? I already know this. So tell me, what is Pretty Pictures exactly? Is that the organization? Is that your company, or is that who you go under? You mentioned them earlier. Pretty Pictures. Did I hear that correctly? Or did I make that up?
Whoa, that's interesting, because that wasn't really a company name or anything. That was just like a
Oh, you were
general
just talking.
terminology,
Oh, I thought.
modeling.
Oh,
But to be honest,
go do
that
something
actually,
now. Yeah.
Pretty Pictures is actually kind of a good name.
You never know how
I was
things
like,
happen. So what do you do now? So you've had success. You're moving your career forward. Obviously, you've been doing it for a while. What do you do now to get uncomfortable? Or how do you go reach out to people? Or what do you do now to continue to push the edge and develop your skills?
continue to learn. I'm signing up for a 6-week acting course. It starts next weekend. When it comes to being in the modeling or entertainment industry, you're creative. You have to be creative. You cannot sit on the couch and then have some kind of thing to deliver.
Right.
You have to constantly be pushing that creative niche. And whether it's modeling or acting, you're kind of adapting other people's personas, and you have to deliver those people's personas without actually being those people,
Right. Yeah.
And that is so much fun, because of my personality. I find that really fun because I don't really interact with a lot of people in the real world.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of close friends that I could be super myself with.
Yeah.
But when it comes to doing jobs and stuff, I love meeting new people in a much organized manner. Instead of meeting new people where I can't, there's no a start time and end time.
Yeah.
So so I'm able to pick up on different personalities and all this stuff, and just people watching and understanding how people move when they're a certain type of person is really fun. I challenge myself all the time, just whenever I go out and stuff. So it's fun.
Yeah, well, I guess the entire world, which the world is all of our learning ground, but for you, it's absolutely a learning ground where you're basically, anytime you're in public, you're training if you're being perceptive of what's going on, right? So
yeah, certain people. Okay, so I fly a lot. I know exactly what line to get behind by looking at the people.
You just tell.
For security checkpoint, I'm like, ooh, They're gonna be slow.
Just know.
I'm like, ooh, they're gonna be fast. Oh, I'm going behind this one.
It's so funny. Well, Lily, we got a minute or two left here, and you've taught us so much already. I've already learned so much from you.
Really? Oh,
yeah, I've learned a lot. Stay in the confidence game. This is great. Don't lie to yourself. If you're not being yourself, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to the people you're working for. There's a lot of great examples in here that I'm going to take hold of. But where can people follow you, your journey, your acting, your modeling, all this, and where can they follow your journey? Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me on Lily _Fifita, Fifita. It's on Instagram. I'm more of an Instagram person.
All right.
So.
Well, everybody follow you on Instagram. We're going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for being here today, and come on anytime.
All right. Bye, Jake.
Bye-bye. Hey, one last thing before you go, leave a comment. Which example did you most align with from today's show? I'm curious. I want to know. Also, if there's somebody that you want to find out what's made them nervous, leave their name in the comment. I'll try to get them on the show. Follow me on social media at Jake Bolig. Follow the show at Go Find Nervous. And if you don't mind, subscribe. It helps me out the whole algorithm thing. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Go Find Nervous.